What's up, YouTube fam? Today I want to show you my Ohio Deadlift Bar, and I'd like to explain why I decided to purchase the Ohio Deadlift Bar. What you're actually looking at in the back here, I have the old, or not the old, but I mean I bought it a year ago. It's the Ohio Power Bar. It's just a standard powerlifting bar, and up top you have my old Olympic lifting bar, which has now basically been retired from deadlifts, and it's exclusively going to be used for Olympic lifting, snatches, cleans, and jerks, things like that. But what you have here now is the Ohio Deadlift Bar. So the reason why I bought it, I'd like to get into that right now and explain it to you. And I'm just going to kind of highlight a few different really neat things about the Ohio Deadlift Bar. And I'm going to compare it with the Texas Deadlift Bar and the Oki Bar, because both of those I was considering getting instead of this one from Rogue, this Ohio Bar. But I'd like to explain why I decided to go with the Ohio Bar now and just kind of show you the benefits of me using it. So let's get the reason why I picked up a deadlift bar instead of just using this Ohio Power Bar that you're seeing right here. A few different reasons. Firstly, this Power Bar actually has this center knurling here, which is really great for squats. This bar is actually a little bit thicker, and I'm going to put the stats or the specifications on the screen for this bar and for the new deadlift bar as well. But this one's a little bit thicker, so in terms of getting a good grip around it, it's not quite as easy as the new powerlifting deadlift bar that I picked up. So that's one of the reasons. The other one is this bar is actually a little bit shorter in length than the deadlift bar. So the deadlift bar, I believe, is like 90 inches if I'm not mistaken. And then the Ohio Power Bar is a little bit shorter. But again, I'll put this stuff on the screen so you can see it. But that's the general reason why I decided to pick up the deadlift bar. Now, if you are considering getting a deadlift bar, what I would suggest is if you're not deadlifting over 500 pounds, so if you're still under the 500 pound mark, I would honestly not consider getting a deadlift bar. There's just no point. You haven't reached that intermediate stage for deadlifting where that bar is actually going to make a difference for you. So I was previously using this Olympic lifting bar, which you see up top, which is really just a standard, cheap. I think it cost me like 150 or 170 bucks, Olympic lifting bar. And I'm just going to use that for Olympic lifting from now on. So that is basically retired from deadlifts, and it's just going to be used for snatches, clean and jerk, things like that. And then my old Ohio bar is going to be used for exclusively for squats. And then basically I'm going to be using this for deadlifts. So what I'm going to do now is show you a little bit of a demonstration comparing the new Ohio deadlift bar with my old Olympic bar that I used to use, because I have a lot of footage using that. So you can compare the two, basically lifting similar weight, and you can see why the deadlift bar makes a little bit more sense for me. But I will be getting into a more in-depth comparison between the Ohio Power Bar and the deadlift bar in another review. Just for now, I'd like to keep this pretty simple and just explain why I decided to purchase the deadlift bar. So one of the main considerations for me buying the Ohio deadlift bar was the fact that it's going to be a little bit more whippy, a little bit more flexible than a regular stiff bar. And that's pretty much what I've been using for the past, I don't even know, years. I've been using a stiff bar. So the only time I was using a proper deadlift bar was when I would go to, high-end gyms like Fortis Fitness in Toronto, or really just any specialty powerlifting, Olympic lifting type of gyms, which they're, few and far between. So I didn't want to have to drive into a gym in order to get a specialty bar. That's why I decided to pick this one up. And with regards to the flex, so even with 315 pounds on the bar, you can see here that there's quite a bit of bend in the actual bar itself. So when I do this set right now, you're actually going to see the bar just curve and bend just slightly, which you would not be seeing with a stiff bar. But again, if you're not going up and above 500 pounds, there's really not much point, because you're not going to see that much of an improvement in your overall lift when you go ahead and buy a deadlift bar. So just something to consider, but let's get to the set. If you're going to be picking up the Rogue Ohio Deadlift Bar, is maybe you want to get it in black zinc. Now, it's basically just this black finish that you see on the bar here, aside from looking really badass, which is a selling point on its own. if you get the regular bare steel bar, you're probably going to have to maintain it just with regular bar maintenance. So you're going to have to get a little brush cleaner and try and clean it off every now and then. Also, if you're storing it in a place that has moisture, such as my garage gym here, then you would probably want to shy away from getting the bare steel, just because that moisture could form onto the bar, and you may just have to do more and more bar maintenance to keep it, keep it looking flawless. So that's why I would recommend just spending that extra little bit more, aside from the fact that it looks way cooler, but pick up the black zinc finish for your Ohio Deadlift Bar.